Alright, so I want to do number dos, which says I have solar panels and natural gas. I guess usually LNG. What's the L stand for? You guys know?
Liquid natural gas.
Liquid. Nice. So solar panels.
Actually asking.
Yeah, what was I actually asking?
I thought like.
Oh, you thought I was wondering?
Yeah.
Like what? You never compressed very much.
Whatever.
How
Okay,
did you
solar
know
panels.
Okay, solar panels and natural
Go buy a
gas.
water heater.
Yeah.
We have 3 kilograms
Solar
of raw
panels
materials.
take 3 kilograms of raw materials, 1 hour of work, and produce 7 kilowatt hours.
Can you put down the right side?
And then natural gas requires 2 kilograms of raw materials, 4 hours of work, and 5 kilowatt hours. Sorry, 5 kilowatts per hour, and I keep working up my kilowatt. Okay. Available, you have 90 kilograms of raw materials, 20 hours of work, and you want to what?
Excellent profit.
Yeah, you want to maximize your profit, right? Which in this case is not actually profit, but is
Same.
Production.
production.
Oh.
You guys see that?
Why did
So,
Production because it's energy.
why is it production, not profit?
No, I was asking why I just said B.
Alright, so what are my equations? First things first?
Well, I would think so.
3s.
Okay, so
3s plus 2
Plus
n
2 L.
equals 90.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
so 3s plus 2n has to be
Greater
Less
Greater than or equal to
Less than.
Less than or equal
less
to
than or
90.
equal to
90.
90.
So then 1s plus 4n
And
to 20.
1s plus 4n has to be less than or equal to 20. And
7k plus 5k
Wait, so
equals 0.
7s
7s plus 5n
less
is,
than or equal to 0 or equal to 0 or p.
yeah, this should be your production, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to call this equals P. Okay, so first step, right, was kind of read problem,
Yeah, you should probably start there.
right? Step 2 was,
Labels.
yeah, kind of a loose table, right? Like, step 3 is going to be write inequalities. Yeah, really those are resource restrictions, right? Now that you've got your inequalities written, what do you do?
Matrix.
Yeah, put your slack in. This is a simplex method problem, right? They said use the simplex method. Otherwise I could use the geometric method. You guys all
which
recognize
is
that?
What you should always use.
Like you could use the geometric method here and it would work.
Would it be like no points docked for doing that?
Yeah, what if you told us to use the simplex method? We'd
If I tell you to use the simplex method and you use the geometric method and pull it off flawlessly, I'll probably take 1 point off.
Sounds good to me. If I get stuck.
Well,
If
if
you-
you two variables, then yeah.
If you dork it, you're gonna lose a lot of points.
Solar.
Right, so it's a gamble. You can take that gamble if you want.
Solar, natural
I
gas.
got you.
So,
I didn't.
Step 4 was, Kelly,
Introduce slack.
slack.
I'm gonna write this down.
So, stick some slack in here. How do you stick some slack in here?
S1, S2.
Yeah, you just go, alright, we're gonna make this equal and we're gonna add S1 to this one. We're gonna make this equal and we're gonna add S2 to this one. You guys with me? Okay. Step 5.
I would fix the profit.
Oh yeah, you need to fix the profit thing, right?
Yeah, so you have to
Say
So you do
subtract the p.
set it equal to 0, and then you do
negative.
negative on the P?
No, negative on the 7.
Yeah, the other things need to be negative. So you do negative here, plus P equals 0. All good with that? Maybe do that algebra by hand if you're looking at me like that.
No, I was just thinking you would just subtract a p on one side and put it on the p equals and then all the numbers are negative.
Yeah.
I can do that too.
The p's always going to have an opposite sign from these guys, and you want the p to have a coefficient of 1.
Okay,
So you should move the other numbers to the p side.
okay.
Step 5 was, after I introduce slack and rearrange, I should
Make a table.
make a simplex table. I don't know why they spelled table. I don't know.
Yeah, that looks a little weird, just ignore it.
Okay, so in your simplex table, you're going to have s's and n's and
S1, S2, and P's.
s1s, s2s, p,
And
and
a number.
Augment.
numbers. Okay, so first equation is how many s's?
3.
3 s's. How many n's?
2 N's.
2,
1.
One slack,
1 slack 1,
0 slack, 2,
no slack 2s, no p's, and 90.
beautiful.
Okay, row 2 is
1S.
1s,
4n,
4n,
0 s1,
0 s1s,
1
1
s2,
s2,
0 P.
0 p's,
20.
20. And profit row is
-7.
-7, -5,
0.
0, 0,
1.
1,
0.
and 0.
That's it, right? That's all we have to do?
now you.
Pretty much.
Find
Pivot
the
point.
pivot.
Yeah, crap. So, step 6, find the pivot.
-7.
Yeah, so you're like, alright, which thing's the biggest payoff for me?
3. 3 in the S column.
Biggest payoff there. And then you do 90 divided by 3 and 20 divided by 1.
And the lowest number.
Gives you 30 and 20, and this is like golf, the lowest number wins,
1.
which means you're in this row.
Can you just get rid of the bottom, like the -7 right away?
So your pivot is right here. What do you mean, can I get rid of the -7 right away?
Multiply that middle row by 7 and then add it to the bottom row?
Yes, definitely. So your next step after you found the pivot is going to be row ops with pivot row, and you have to use the pivot row.
Wait,
Row operations. That thing I always do, where you multiply the pivot row through by something and add it to the others. That's a row operation. But you have to use the pivot. You have to use the pivot row. So you take your pivot row, which is 1, 4, 0, 1, 0, 20, and you want to clear this -7. So to clear -7, you need to add 7. To get a 7 to add out of this row, you need to take this and multiply by 7. You guys with me?
so you have to multiply, you can't just add.
You can't,
That's
well,
what I did wrong.
so
'cause
if
I
this is a
didn't add.
1, you could just add.
Yeah, but it has to
But
be
you
the same
have to
number.
use the pivot row. So like, if this was a 7 here and this is a -7, you can't just add those two rows. That won't help. That'll cause you, so the simplex method, you go through the table in a really specific order, and the reason you do that is that you're walking along on the edges of this picture, and if you willy-nilly add rows without accounting for the pivot, you just walk at random around the shape, and you get lost.
It's happened to me on the test.
Totally.
Yeah.
You were not alone.
That was a Cody every day.
So, multiply by 7, you get 7 and 28
0,
and 0
7,
and 7
0,
and 0
140.
and 140,
Add.
and then add.
Keep the row.
So I'm going to get a new simplex table, right? That's going to have top row as 3, 2, 1, 0, 0, 90, because I didn't do anything to that. Pivot row,
is.
1, 4, 0,
Yep,
1.
didn't do anything to that. So 1, 4, 0, 1, 0, 20. And bottom row is now
0, 23,
0, 23,
0,
0,
7,
7, 1, 1, 40. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel here. Why?
You just got one more thing to do.
Because now you don't have negative numbers.
Yeah, you don't have a negative number in the payoff row, so you know you're going to be done after you finish one more step.
Get the 1 by itself.
And your one more step is that the pivot, right, this guy,
-3.
needs to be alone in its column. So I need to get rid of this 3. So I have to do that again using the pivot row.
-3.
So you take this and you multiply by -3. So you're going to get -3, -12, 0, -3, 0,
-6.
-6.
Why would that be negative?
4 times
4
-3.
4 times -3 is -12. You guys all good with that?
So you're
Yeah.
multiplying.
Yep.
You're
Sorry.
-3.
Yep, I took the pivot row and multiplied by the opposite of what was here.
Okay,
And that's so that when I add 3 and -3, I'm going to get 0.
okay.
So, my results, I guess I'll put it right here, is 0,
What? Oh, 0, -10.
-10, 1,
1,
-3,
0,
0,
30.
augmented by 30,
Everything else stays.
and everything else stays the same. So I have 1, 4, 0, 1, 0, 20, and 0, 23, 0, 7, 1, 1, 40.
Bring your units down.
Wait, what?
I was just gonna say, bring your units down.
Units. What units?
Aren't you done?
Your,
Yeah, I'm done. And Arshia is saying something that I think is reasonable. You want to, what, interpret this thing?
yeah, your kilograms of raw
Oh,
materials.
okay. So,
Yeah.
You just noticed?
remember where things
Wait,
came
okay,
from.
wait.
So, what was this first column?
So,
Yeah, that was the number of solar panels you were going to build. What was the second column?
natural gas.
The number of natural gas things you were going to build. What was the third one?
Slack for your,
Slack 1. And second one here?
Slack 2,
Slack 2.
And profit.
profit.
Production, right?
Yeah.
And the last one was numbers. And then to interpret where you're at, you go through there and you say, that's an identity matrix column. This is an identity matrix column. That's an identity matrix column and the augment row.
So 20 solar panels.
So solar panels, 20.
Yeah.
Good.
Then you have.
So you find out S is 20.
30 left over for Slack 1.
S1 is 30.
And Slack 1's solar panels too, right?
Where'd Slack 1 come from?
Natural.
It was solar.
No.
Oh,
Good, it was raw materials. So you have 30 kilograms of raw materials left over.
Alright.
You guys see that? And what's your last thing?
Profit of one.
You have 20.
Yeah, your profit is 140, or your production, right?
How much is the profit? One is-
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
140.
Yeah, so now I need a sentence, right? Oh, wait. So, guys, after I did this, I did row operations with my pivot row, right? And then there's 2 steps here. Either there aren't any negative numbers, in which case you interpret, which is what I'm doing now, or go back up here, find the pivot again, and repeat. You guys see that?
So what, wait, why would I go up and find the pivot again and repeat?
if there was a negative, like, if instead of 23 I had negative 23 here, then I'd be like, oh shit, I can do better than this, I better rinse and repeat my pivot thing.
Gotcha,
You guys all see that?
yes,
Okay.
thank you.
So, what's my sentence that goes with this?
For maximum.
To maximize production.
Good. To maximize production,
You should use 20 solar,
20 solar panels.
use 20 solar panels.
yeah,
Which leaves you with 30 kilograms.
Ooh, yeah, you should figure out how much of the other stuff you have left, right? You guys see that? Like, N, I don't know N, man.
right.
Well,
So
subtract-
how can I figure out what N was?
Is there another step we have to do?
Well, there's another step that's maybe should be relatively easy.
You have 30 raw, 30,
You have 30 raw materials left over, right? You have 30 kilograms of raw materials left over. And every solar panel took 3, every liquid natural gas thing took 2, and you had a total of 90, right? If you're building 20 solar panels,
that's
how much raw material are you using to do that?
60.
60. Oh, that's where the 30 left over came from. How many of these are you building? None. Because you have 30 left over, right? And you use 60 to build the
Solar panels.
solar panels. So if you wanted to write that down as an equation, you'd write that down as 3 times 20 plus
Oh,
2 times n plus s1. Oh wait, I know s1. S1's 30. Has to be 90. Right? There was an equation right here that I erased.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and 60 plus 30 is 90, so n is 0. You guys see how you can solve for that?
you're,
The other way you could do it is you could say the production's 140, right? 20 solar panels, each produce 7 kilowatts. That's your total production right there, so you know there aren't any natural gas installations.
right, well,
It
you,
uses gas, so.
You can see that?
yeah, I mean, you still have raw material to like make solar panels, but you don't have hours.
Yeah, exactly. You have raw materials left that you could use to make more solar panels or more liquid natural gas installs, but you're out of man hours. Like, you're done. You had 20 hours available, solar panels use up an hour each, and you made 20. You're out of that. You guys see that? Okay. So, to maximize production at 140 kilowatts, right? Use 20 solar panels and
Chill out.
and stop, right?
Stop.
And no natural gas. You guys see that? This is kind of the problem with coal production in the United States at the moment. It's not that there's lots and lots of regulations on coal mining, it's that natural gas is kind of better when you build a table like this. Burns a little cleaner and it's easier to deal with. Cool? Questions? Okay.